There's a profession in India that has outlasted empires, revolutions, washing machines, and even the internet. While the whole world traded manual labor for technology, one group of people keeps doing, every single day, exactly what their great-grandparents, great-great-grandparents, and ancestors from 1,000 years ago used to do. And the most impressive part, they're still essential. In 2026, this profession is still alive, still pulsing at the heart of India's biggest cities. And today I'm going to show you why it will never disappear. We're talking about the Dhobies, India's traditional clothes washers. If you've never heard of them, get ready, because this story is going to change the way you see work, tradition, and survival. Before we go on, hold on to a question. How does a profession with zero technology manage to survive in one of the fastest-growing economies in the world? The answer will surprise you, and it will make you look at India in a completely different way. Let's go back in time. The Dhobi profession isn't just old. It's one of the oldest documented occupations in all of human history. There are records showing this activity being practiced for more than 1,000 years on the Indian subcontinent. Some historians say it goes back much further, lost somewhere in India's ancient history. The word Dhobi comes from the Hindi term dona, which means to wash. And it's not just any word, it represents an entire caste, a social group that historically was born, grew up, and lived solely and exclusively to wash other people's clothes. That's right. In traditional Indian social structure, washing clothes wasn't a choice, it was inherited. You were born a Dhobi, and most of the time, you died a Dhobi. The son of a Washerman became a Washerman, the grandson of a Washerman became a Washerman, and so it went on for generations. It's a system that many people outside India struggle to understand, because it breaks with the Western logic that work is a choice. In traditional India, for many families, work was destiny. And that destiny brought with it one of the most fascinating spectacles you can still see today. If you go to Mumbai, one of India's biggest cities, you'll find a place called Dhobi Ghat. This place is, without exaggeration, the largest open-air laundry in the world. Picture hundreds of small concrete tanks, lined up side by side, where men beat dirty clothes against stone and concrete blocks with an almost hypnotic force and rhythm. The sound that echoes through there is unique, a constant slapping of wet fabric against stone, hundreds of times per minute, in hundreds of tanks at once. At Mumbai's Dhobi Ghat alone, it's estimated that more than 7,000 people work daily washing, drying, ironing, and delivering clothes for hospitals, hotels, restaurants, and thousands of families across the city. This is happening in the middle of 2026, in an India that is already the 5th or 6th largest economy on the planet, with billion-dollar tech companies, rockets heading to the moon, and one of the fastest-growing artificial intelligence markets in the world. Have you ever stopped to think about that? While Indian engineers build software used across the entire planet, just a few kilometers away, there are men washing clothes by hand, exactly the same way it was done hundreds of years ago. Two Indias, two worlds living side by side in the same city at the same moment. But how does this work in practice? The process is much more organized than it seems at first glance. Clothes arrive from different parts of the city, often from hospitals and hotels that have old contracts, some of them decades long, with specific Dhobi families. Each piece of clothing gets a discrete marking, often stitched with colored thread, a code that only the Dhobis themselves know how to read. This marking system is so precise that, even when washing thousands of pieces at once, all mixed together in huge tanks, every single item makes it back to its rightful owner. No electronic tag, no barcode, no app. Just memory, tradition, and a manual system passed down from generation to generation. Once washed, the clothes are wrung out with impressive force and repeatedly slapped against the stones to remove all the dirt, a process that replaces what a washing machine would do today in minutes, but which there takes hours of intense physical labor. Next, they're hung on giant clotheslines that cover enormous areas, creating a true sea of colorful fabric drying under the Indian sun. Once dry, they're pressed with charcoal irons. Yes, irons that still use hot coals inside them, a technology that has practically vanished from the rest of the world, but is still used there every single day. This work is physically brutal. The Dhobi's hands, after years of labor, become marked, hardened, often with deep cracks from constant contact with water, soap, and the chemicals used in washing. Their backs bend, their knees suffer, and the routine starts long before sunrise and ends well after sunset. And yet, it's a profession that has supported entire families for generations. Now you must be wondering, with so much technology available, with washing machines becoming cheaper and more accessible all the time, why does this work still survive in 2026? The answer has several layers, and each one reveals something profound about Indian society. The first layer is economic. India has a population of more than 1,400,000,000 people. A huge portion of that population lives in financial conditions that make Adobe's service cheaper than buying, maintaining, and powering a washing machine of their own. Paying a few cents per item of clothing washed week after week is still more financially viable for millions of families than investing in an appliance. And since many of these households don't have the physical space to install a machine, the manual service remains, in practice, the more logical option. The second layer is cultural. India's caste system, although officially abolished by the Constitution since 1950, still deeply influences the country's social structure, especially outside the major modern urban centers. Many Dhobi families remain in this profession not just out of financial necessity, but because this is the identity that was passed down to them. Breaking with this tradition means, for many, breaking with their own family history, with their grandparents' memory, with a sense of belonging that goes beyond money. The third layer, perhaps the most striking of all, is institutional. Hospitals, large hotels, and even public agencies in cities like Mumbai maintain formal and informal contracts with these washing communities that go back decades. Replacing this system with automated industrial laundries would mean destroying an entire chain of jobs that supports thousands of families, on top of requiring massive investment in infrastructure. So often it's simpler, cheaper, and more socially responsible to keep the traditional system running. And there's a fourth point, maybe the most interesting of all. Mumbai's Dhobi Ghat today is also a tourist attraction. Thousands of tourists from around the world visit the site every year, pay for guided tours, take photos, film videos by local crafts, and help inject money directly into this community. The tradition, which was already sustainable on its own, has gained an extra boost through tourism, creating a new source of income that barely existed decades ago. But this story isn't all romance. It's important to talk honestly about the real challenges this community faces in 2026. Working conditions are still extremely harsh, with no proper protective equipment, constant exposure to strong chemicals, and workdays that often exceed 12 hours. The new generation of Dhobi's children, especially those with access to formal education, is increasingly reluctant to carry on the family legacy. Many young people prefer to move into more modern urban jobs, seeking office positions, roles in the tech sector, or services that offer less physical wear and more long-term financial stability. This creates a real dilemma for the future of this profession. Will the Dhobis still exist 50 years from now? Or are we living through the final chapters of a 1,000-year-old tradition, on the verge of being lost forever in the face of technological progress and social change? Some experts believe it will survive because it is deeply intertwined not just with the economy, but with Indian cultural identity itself. Local government has even shown interest in preserving Dhobi Ghat as cultural heritage, recognizing its historical and touristic value. Others believe that, as India continues growing economically and access to appliances becomes even more widespread among lower-income classes, this kind of manual labor will gradually lose ground, remaining perhaps only as a tourist attraction, a living relic of the past artificially kept alive for visitors. What becomes clear, either way, is a powerful lesson this story teaches us, no matter where in the world you live. Progress and tradition don't always move in a straight line, one completely replacing the other. Sometimes they coexist, side by side, for far longer than we imagined possible. Modern India, with its rockets, its artificial intelligence, and its tech giants, still finds room, need, and even respect for a job that has existed for more than 1,000 years, done exactly the same manual way as always. This makes us rethink the very concept of progress. Does progressing necessarily mean abandoning everything old? Or is there a kind of wisdom in preserving certain traditions, even when they seem, at first glance, outdated? The Dhobis of Mumbai, with their marked hands and their hypnotic work rhythm, seem to answer that question every single day, without needing to say a single word. Next time you throw dirty clothes into the washing machine and press a button without a second thought, it might be worth remembering that, on the other side of the world, there's a billion people for whom that simple gesture is still, often, hours of work done by hand, with strength, sweat, and a tradition that has crossed entire generations. and that, even in 2026, it still endures.